the S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100. That's what we're covering here specifically on the day. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is Jerome Powell, the elephant in the room, his remarks about the rate hike. Now, obviously, there was no hike. It was a pause. Now, again, that was kind of anticipated. But what wasn't anticipated is pretty much everything that followed. Every comment he said. We talked about what would be unlikely. It would be unlikely that he talks about energy and specifically what's happening regarding why energy is rising. And he had a lot to say regarding Russia, what's happening, politically with OPEC, etc. And then he even mentioned a little bit about the soft landing that we've all wondered about. So going over a few bullet points, these are all retweeted on my Twitter, so you can go check them out. The link is somewhere down below. And I'll have more updates on this. I just haven't had enough time. I've been so swamped. So first, the current stance of the policy is restrictive. And we kind of come up with this good viewpoint. He's like, we're restrictive. We're good where we're at. We just got to wait for data. Recent labor market report was a good example of what we want to see. Again, more of the same, what we kind of talked about. He was going to talk about what was working, what has been working. And he was very descriptive of it's working in the sense of, obviously, unemployment to where we want it to be. Inflation numbers across the board were going down, right? They have been going down. And then he slowly gets into energy. And this is the point in which everything changed at the meeting. Powell says would not call soft landing a baseline expectation. And I didn't catch a retweet of it, but he basically said it's out of his control now. Powell's exact words. Go watch it if you need to. It's on YouTube. You can go watch it. Okay. So the thesis he's been pushing all year long, soft landing is possible. Soft landing, soft landing, soft landing, right? He is now saying it's not the baseline expectation. It's not the most likely outcome, basically. And then he also said the Fed has no control over it, right? Which is true. He just should have said this a lot earlier. And now it's like he's trying to use his get out of jail free card. And that's where we're at. Proceeded to say energy prices being higher is a significant thing. When sustained at these levels, it definitely can affect inflation. And I don't understand why. Again, this is the elephant, right? We do understand why, actually. But he has stated all year. He's not said nothing about energy, the dangers it poses, etc. He has not. He's stayed away from things that he can't control. But now that the soft landing appears to not be likely because energy is spiking, he is saying, hey, energy is significant. We can't control this. And again, I see both sides of it, but you have to understand this was not good for the market. I'm going to tell you right now, though, even though these things were said, I'm not saying that you're going to collapse down into lows. That's not what I'm saying. So don't run and say, oh, Tyler said we're going to collapse back. I'm not. If that happens, God bless. Honestly, we would get another massive opportunity. But there are trades to be looked at from this. And I'm telling you right now, if you watch yesterday's video, if you watched it whatsoever, then you got in on the best trade that there was. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Now, before we do so, I have to ask you to do two things. Consider liking and subscribing. It helps out tons. I appreciate all the love and support. You guys have been awesome. Appreciate it. The Discord link is down below if you are interested. These prices will be rising, into Black Friday, just so let you know. We are growing pretty nice. We're almost at 1,000 members in Discord. I'm pretty happy about that. Appreciate all your love and support. And most of all, I love that you guys are killing it in the market as of recently. Make sure you're in that newsletter as well, so you're getting that free. And then also, too, education here. If you're trying to learn, you're like, Tyler, should I join your Discord and learn about options? If you're just trying to learn right now, one, go to education. It is totally free. We don't sell a specific course. We don't do that. Now, Discord's more for getting you a mentor, understanding why we're doing things, what trades we're taking, how we're going our long-term portfolio versus our short-term day trading, understanding the community of people to be around and how we're spotting trades and what we're looking for. This is going to teach you all the basics. It's all free in here, so make sure you take advantage of that. Now, okay, so a few things that we've mentioned, right? What have we known? And it's been all over Twitter. I've been telling all you guys a few things. If we're below 372, okay, on QQQ, right, the Nasdaq, you're bearish. If you're below 444 on SPY, you're looking for downside. Okay, so those are a few things. Now, obviously here, Q's never really got a sign of strength. This is the daily chart. You've been well below. Very weak. Now, SPY, on the other hand, SPY gave us a lot of information today. You go to the 5-minute candle here, we can look at 444 all day long. Chop, 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 reject, reject, reject. And then data comes out, we drop. Now, okay, we're breaking back down. A few things giving you targets as well on SPY Qs as well. You're targeting down into at least, in my opinion, 437. That should hit by market open. But then you're looking at 435 and then local lows of 433 going back in, I believe, August 18th lows there. Start breaking below that, you're in a world of pain. Okay, understand those few things there. Qs, you have some room to drop here. I mean, this is ugly. At least short-term downside, 361, 361.5, but it's looking more and more likely you're going to need a retest of that 358 region. So almost $5-6 of downside there on Qs, right? Now, yesterday, and getting into the trade idea, the trades that we want to trade here if we're looking for downside. The biggest things I've been saying, and I've been saying this for almost a week and a half now, semiconductors. Now, again, I was a bull, big bull. We rode semiconductors to the moon, right? I still believe long-term, people are going to be like, Tyler, what about AMD? What about, long-term Tesla? I have my 2025. That is a leap. That is a long-term position. Do we understand that? Now, okay, that's a long-term position. I've been saying AMD, you don't want to trade those short-term. Tesla, I'm not interested in swinging that short-term, right? Dated. But in the short-term now, I am fully aware of where we're at. So we started to break below SOXX 372, right? Boom, boom, bang. Breaking below, closing the day there. We're a little bit lower at basically 470 now. This whole area, basically down to 445, is as illiquid as it gets. This is grotesque, right? Just giving you a quick visual. Pulling up the VPVR so you can see where the volume shelf is. There's about nothing here. There literally, quite honestly, is about nothing. As you pull it out a little bit deeper so you can see. I mean, you start getting in this, you're liquid down to 460. You have a little bit coming back into this range, but not much, right? In comparison to all these other levels. So you're going to start seeing this could start getting pretty illiquid towards the downside. Now, what we've been watching, NVIDIA, number one. We've said under 440, what? You're bearish. Very bearish under 444. We got that close below, multiple rejections. Beautiful, you're pushing down now. Okay, AVGO. Now, this you started to get today. Very interesting behavior here, too. Below 840 is where you start to look really good, right? AVGO probably, it's tough. It's really tough to say that it has more downside opportunity than NVIDIA, but I think it poses more of a volatility threat. I think you could quickly come down into 800, quickly drop down into 780. Lightning quick. You can get a 5% drop on AVGO in a day. 5% on AVGO is around roughly $40-ish, right? $40, $45. Understand the risk that plays in there and how much money that could potentially make you there. And then once you get below 780, which probably is not going to happen instantly, you get into that illiquid area back down to 700 flat. So again, understand the risk to reward opportunities here. That's why I've been saying so much. Even though I assumed they were going to pause, right? I was not hammering calls. Right, because we knew the narrative that we had to listen to. We knew what was happening with energy, and we just didn't want to make bets too early. But that's why I continue to say, if you're patient, you have a plan, and you're interpreting the data based on facts, not based on feelings, there's no reason to not make money in this market right here. Okay, again, so a few things I want to go over real quick. So we'll go into more stocks, what I'm looking at. So this is today, and like I mentioned, we are doing the Option Drops 30K challenge. And so basically what we did as a company, if you guys don't know, we have different sources of income as a company. So we run a few drop shipping things as well, me and Jay, and different ways that we make money online. Okay, there's a few other ways that we make money. So we started to fund that account. We've had some pretty decent success over the past 6-7 months, right? So a few things there. So we're starting to grow this account, trying to demonstrate growing a long-term account here, right? So obviously we've had, Apple shares. We have those for the long haul. We have other things that we like. So today I started to hedge that position, right? So I got in some NVIDIA puts at 400 strikes for December 15th, 22.05 each, right? I only got one because we're not going heavy. This is a long-term account. We don't want to go heavy on hedges, right? So just at the end of the day, just to let you guys know, these are already up 10%, giving you a visual. So just on dated positions, you're able to make a lot of money and also mitigate that risk. I want to use that long-term account for better understanding of how to actually grow your portfolios. So you aren't under this idea of I'm trading weeklies every single day and I'm doubling up my account. That is not the way you have to look at investing, in my opinion. You need to be looking at investing for the long haul, survival, growth. So if you make mistakes, which I promise you will, and so will I, you're going to have bad trades, you're going to have bad investments, it's going to happen. But the whole point of having your portfolio is to hedge on yourself as well. So you're always protecting the most important thing, the artillery, right? Your war chest, understanding how to continue the growth trajectory on that. So hopefully we can get more information there. Now, as well, that's what we're looking at there. Now, Tesla, right? People are going to have questions on Tesla. Tesla's very interesting. Willing to bet you come into 259 tomorrow. Willing to bet. What I'd be looking for here as a trade idea, giving you a little bit of the ragu, right? The sauce, the ragu, right? The best of the best. You're looking potentially, right? You want to see a push back into 264 for the BRB, back down into 259. That's ideally what you would love to see. Now, what I will say is, I don't know why I was doing that. It's going crazy. You probably already had it here at the end of the day here. You broke down, you retested. It is what it is. The levels were, I believe, in the newsletter or previous newsletter and Discord on Twitter. They were everywhere. So you already could have had that information, but that's where that's headed now. Even though some stocks potentially look decent, are holding up better than others. Tesla's holding up better than others. I want to say right now, people are going to have this question. I am not looking to go long on an equity while the indexes and the market is dropping. I do not expect AVGO to go up if the Nasdaq is collapsing. Why? Because AVGO is a major holding inside the Nasdaq, meaning AVGO 9 out of 10 times will follow the index, just like all the other names inside said index. Personal opinion, how I trade, I follow indexes, then I move into equities. I recommend looking at that viewpoint. It probably could help you out. Now, a little bit more downside here. Other names I'm looking at. I'm going to tell you though, I said it yesterday, and like, there's some things I kind of repeat over and over. Semiconductors are the best downside play. It's simple as that. Fantastic. Runner up though, Netflix. I've been saying these guys for a while. You finally close below 390. This thing's absolutely brutal. Very similar to something like, these semiconductor names. You're very illiquid down to 376. You're probably going to hit this you could hit this tomorrow early on in the day. So congrats if you held your position or you're trading Netflix. Happy for you guys. Definitely looking for that. You're probably not going to get a retest. You've literally been sitting at 390 forever. You finally broke down. If you don't believe me, again, this is all literally on Twitter. I don't know what else to say. AVGO was on Twitter. I mean, I could go on a laundry list, right? We told you the printer was coming, right? The printer always does show up, right? I can go on a long tangent. Netflix pushing back down what we wanted to see happen there. So again, it's all been there. Hopefully you got some of this. Now, things that I'll be looking, and again, this might be a little bit early, but I'm going to tell you a few names that I'm going to be looking to be buying the dip, right? Specifically for the longer term account. 1, ARM. Okay, ARM, it's one of those names that me and Jay have been talking about. It's probably going to the 30K account for the long term. We like what they're doing. I think they're coming out at a lower valuation. If they continue to drop, you're looking for them. Now you're going to be saying, Tyler, where exactly are you looking at them? I don't have an exact target because they just IPO'd. Worth mentioning. But they are a great company. They're probably going to do well. So I'll be looking to add some of them. I'll probably be looking to add semiconductors once they start to settle down, but that'll be a little bit more dated. We'll have to wait for that to kind of come in. And of course, I'll let you guys know as well, either here on Twitter or most of all in Discord, you'll get it first. But understand that. The biggest thing that I can tell you guys though is be patient here, right? Or not specifically here, but learn to be patient in the market. Because times like this are where you make your money. I always tell you guys, when you chop your range bound, that's where you lose all your money, right? People get upset. They comment crazy things below. They're like, you never pick a side, this, that. At the end of the day, guys, I don't care if people have negative things to say. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. At the end of the day, what does everyone on here care about? You care if you're making money. I care if I'm making money in the market. So if I end up losing on a trade, the last thing I care about is what someone else said. I'm like, dude, I just lost $2,000 on the day. Could care less what anyone said. Learn to focus on what you're doing and how you can improve what you're doing. And I'm going to tell you right now, it starts with patience. It starts with having a game plan, right? Today, perfect, right? We got to pause. We knew things were a little bit weird. We had to wait for him to speak up. But man, once you get the break of those levels we mentioned on NVIDIA, AVGO, Netflix, it started to play out perfect. It started to play out right according to our game plan. Go watch the previous videos if you don't believe me, right? So I just encourage you guys, be patient when you need to, and then understand when the real money-making opportunities are in front of you. Now, the last thing that I'm going to leave you with really quick, sorry, I had my computer restarted, I had all this set up. The last thing I want to leave you with is going into kind of how we reacted on some of the bigger viewpoints here. Now, everyone's saying the dollar's going to dip, the oil's going to dip, this, that. I recommend when you're looking at these charts, one, use the daily chart. Don't use the 5 minutes or an hour. You know, people were saying, oh, you're dipping on the dollar. Look where the dollar dipped back into. You dipped right back into previous highs, perfect bounce, and then you bounced right back up. You're most likely going into 106 here on the dollar. That's my target there. You go a little bit further. We go look at oil. People are like, oh, you're dipping on oil. It's going down. It's this, it's that. Guys, look, the same thing happened back here. You came right back into target, you dipped, and you popped back up. What happens when we hit a target? You have targets because you accept or expect sellers to step in there. You don't have a target because you expect us to blast through the target. That's not, I mean, that's just craziness. Look a little bit further too. This is the real concerning part. The 2-year broke, it's at new highs. The 5-year broke at new highs. 10-year broke at new highs. 30-year, not at highs yet. Your inversion, 99.1. Very concerning. So again, these are all signs of probably some downside to come here as well. Another big thing I'm looking at is XLF, which has been a really good indicator of the health of the market. And again, XLF banks did not like what was said from, Powell. They did not like what was said in coming out of yields, putting it downside. Likely XLF comes back down to $34. This probably brings down the market as well. That's my viewpoint. If you have questions, comment down below. Have a good one. Be safe. Good luck trading. Twitter, have more trade ideas. Charge coming soon.